This is going to be another investigative supplement report, and this report date is 8/23. And this is going to be the phone collection and interview with Nicole Kassinger. Synopsis: 8/23 interview with Nicole Kassinger at CBI. Victim number 1, Shanann. Witness number 2, Charlotte Nelson. Suspect number 1, Christopher Watts. Property number phone, iPhone 6. Action taken. On August the 23rd, CBI agent Kevin Kovac arranged to meet Nicole Kassinger at the CBI office in Lakewood, Colorado. Kassinger and I had previously discussed her cellular phone, which is an iPhone 6, which she used to converse and text with Christopher Watts. Kassinger had previously consented to a search of her cellular phone in Thornton, Colorado on August the 16th of 2018. While at the Thornton Police Department, her cellular telephone was downloaded using the X-ray software. As a backup and an effort to possibly recover more information, I requested that Nicole allow the Colorado Bureau of Investigation to download her phone, again using a different software too. Cellbrite. Nicole consented to another search of her phone and agreed to come to the CBI office and provide me her phone. Nicole arranged to transfer her phone service to another phone which she had previously used. When Nicole transferred her phone service from her current phone to her older phone, which was a Samsung 5, multiple text messages which she had previously reported as deleted were recovered on her old phone. Attempts were made to download Nicole's older telephone using Cellbrite at the CBI. The phone was unable to be downloaded. Nicole did send me text messages of the recovered text between her and Christopher Watts. She recovered messages. The recovered messages are from Watts's phone number. No messages were recovered between Nicole and Watts' business and a Darko phone number. The recovered messages are as follows. Okay, now what I find very interesting about these, could have possibly had some of the blue conversations deleted before the screenshots were taken. Now, that's just me thinking, right? I mean, I could be wrong, but, why would Chris sit and talk to himself for the most part, right? But anyway, let's get right into these. Chris will be in the red, and as I say, Nicole is in the blue. And if you think Chris is talking to himself, then, well, I don't know. I don't think he is, but that's me. The first one's going to be on 8/12 at 3:14 p.m., the day of the birthday party. Nice. That sounds like a good time. I haven't seen an IMAX in a while. Sounds like you're having a fun day with the folks. I'm still at the birthday party. The kids are soaked from water balloons. Been pounding fruit and had a whole jar of asparagus. He didn't smoke any barbecue this time. He did hot dogs. So I did fruit and veggies. So, do you believe that after he said that about the water balloons and the kids' birthday party, that she didn't reply or anything? Nothing? And then he just come back out of the blue and said he's been pounding fruit and had a whole jar of asparagus. So you don't think she may have come back and said, oh, really? Well, are you eating healthy? Are you checking your macros? Are you making sure this, that, and the other? Or what did you eat? Or whatever it is she says about health and how that seems to be such a huge deal. Or do you think that maybe he did just, out of the blue, been pounding fruit? Now, pretty sure there's a text or two that's been deleted between that. That's my opinion. Anyway, Chris goes on to talk to himself again, supposedly, and he says, oh my God, that is absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. Okay, now this look really closely. 8:13, 2:44 p.m. This is roughly 15 minutes before she clocked out at work on Monday, August the 13th at 3 p.m. Or so she says she clocks out at 3 p.m. I don't know. We definitely don't know when she clocked in because that was never asked, said, shown, anything. We don't know anything about clocking in. But she did say she clocked out at 3 p.m. So this is roughly 15, 16 minutes before she clocked out. Chris, out of the blue, not replying to anything, just out of the blue, he says, "Oh my God, that is absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out." About what? Okay, at this time, he's at his house. You know, there's detectives, there's cops, he's watching, Nate's video cam of him walking in and out of his house. All this is going on. We're actually watching him on the body cams, texting like crazy. Somebody, but here, all we see is him talking into nothing, because it doesn't show that she wrote anything to him, but just out of the blue, he says, "Oh my God, that is absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out." Okay, who would freak out? And what kind of a damn text is that to send when you are talking to detectives, your wife's missing, watching footage from your neighbor's camera of you walking back and forth to your truck loading things in it? What kind of a text is that? Seriously. All the exclamation points behind it. You don't see any of his other text here with that slew of exclamation points behind it. So whatever he was referring to right here, he was definitely all about it. I mean, seriously. So there you go. What do you think this is about? This has always been one of those texts. Now, why would Nicole just leave that one there and not delete it as well? Because obviously she deleted whatever she wrote. He's not going to just throw that out there for no reason at such an odd time. So what do you think he was replying to? Oh, I've heard several things it's been said, but if that was a fact, and I even heard one time, I believe I heard it said that Nicole had told him, "Hey, I found some cereal with unicorns on it or something. I think the girls would like that." And he's like, "That's absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out." No. And I'll tell you why I do not believe that. If that were true, then why would she delete that? Why would she delete that? All she said was, "Oh, here's some cereal with unicorns on it. I think the girls would like it." I mean, it looks like that's the last thing she would delete, right? And why is this, "Oh my God, that is ridiculous. They would freak out"? Why is that still there? Well, maybe she forgot to delete that. You think? Who knows? But that one text right there has always been one of those, what does that mean questions. Okay, go right along. We got Nicole, and this is on 8/12 at 12:45 p.m. "No, you can't buy the scrolls, LOL. Dude, the Dead Sea Scrolls are some of the oldest, most important writing in the world. Chris, 8/12, 3:14 p.m. And that's the same text from before over here, where it says that, "Sounds like a good time. I haven't seen an IMAX in a while. Sounds like you're having a fun day with the folks. I'm still at the birthday party. Kids are soaked from water balloons." Chris again, 8/12/407, and it's the same, pounding the fruit. Okay, over to the other side, 7/26, 10:25 a.m. And this is Chris. There it is. "Yes, you deserve a pay increase for everything you're doing. Your plate is only getting fuller because people know what you can do. They need to compensate you now rather than later." Wow, sounds like she's pretty good, or Chris thinks she's really good at this safety and environment job she has. So good that she needs compensated, and she needs a pay increase for everything that she is doing, and her plate's just getting fuller. Wow. Okay, on down to 8/10 11:20 p.m. Rocky's game didn't end until 10:20. Good thing you left early. You would have been there a while. And then Chris, 8:11, 12:40 a.m. Hope you had a great night, beautiful. Miss you. Get home safe. Sweet dreams. My sexy, I can't say that. Cannot say it. Empanada. Okay, going on down to the next set of text. And as you see, once again, it's mostly all red, except over on the far right, we do have a lot of blue, but I can assure you that blue was left there for a specific reason because there's no red. So that tells me that she wanted them to know. She didn't want it to look too obvious that she was deleting everything, so she left the things that she knew that they already knew about her. That's what I believe. Okay, this is on July the 4th at 7:30 p.m. He says, I had a protein shake before I left. I thought there would be more here. I'm resisting the funnel cakes and tater twist. So I'm assuming that's when he was at the 4th of July fireworks show where he saw Amanda and Nick. Then, July the 4th at 10:30 p.m., he texts and says, I'm in stopped traffic 2, meaning he is replying to her, telling him she's stopped in traffic because he said 2, so that's obviously answering and agreeing that the same thing's happening with him, correct? So, obviously one of her, whatever she had wrote before that is not there. 1:12, lots of people here. July the 4th, 11:02 p.m. Just pulled up to your place. Now, if you'll remember, in her discovery, she said she took him home, or no, she said they went home. I think that's how it was. So after he left the fireworks show that he was out with Nick and Amanda, he went to Nicole's on the 4th of July. And then she says, you're so considerate. Okay, what is he considerate about? Just pulled up to your place. Probably wouldn't get a reply like you're so considerate, right? Anyway, he says, I hope it's 2:30. You need some rest, boo. And this was on 7/17, July the 17th. I hope it's 2:30. You need some rest, boo. Okay, what's he replying to there? I mean, really? Out of the blue? Anyway, we come up to the infamous Are We Bad People that everybody knows she typed in. And why would she even have to ask that? She obviously thought that, or she wouldn't have had to ask it, right? Okay, and then Chris, out of the blue, I'd love to be a part of it. Being in your life is something I crave. He's not replying to anything, as we see, and that was on July the 1st. Okay, going on down again, July the 1st, 9:23 p.m. Conserve it while you can. I enjoyed our conversation tonight. I hope you have a great night. Sweet dreams, Nikki. Conserve it while you can. What are they talking about? Like, they're animal that like shit. What are they talking about? What is he replying to? He's not just saying this stuff out of the blue. Conserve it while you can. What is she conserving? Who knows? It's awful funny that the only thing that could be recovered is pretty much all his and none of hers. And then again, this is on July the 4th at 6:53 p.m. He says, I'm getting drenched right now, LOL. Like to see you all wet in the rain. July the 4th, 6:59 p.m. My signal sucks so bad here. It might take a while to download your pictures. Crushed tacos, and there's nothing you can't see on down, but at the top of the very next one, still him, it says, next me, isn't going to be fun tonight. And then there's no day, you can't see it, you can just only see the very end of it. It's going to take me a while to download your pictures. This is on July the 4th. So, I mean, anytime he wasn't right there with her, she was sending him pictures back to back to back to back to back. I mean, I think it was said his picture, or his phone had hundreds and hundreds of pictures of her on it. And then she says, June the 30th, which is 3 days after Shanann had left going to North Carolina. 3 days. At 4:28 p.m., she says, "I have an idea, by the way. I have a free hotel stay at the Holiday Inn. Not sure if you can swing it this month, but we can road trip to the mountains or southern Colorado for a day or two if you want. Won't cost a dime." Okay, this message has always gotten me as well. The way she worded that, not sure if you can swing it this month, but we can road trip to the mountains or southern Colorado for a day or two if you want. Now, that's just odd to say to a guy that you've only been hanging out or talking to for 2 or 3 days, right? Or even a week. Not sure if you can swing it this month, but we can road trip to the mountains or southern Colorado for a day or two if you want. So see, get out of there. Get out of the area where everybody knows us, and let's go to the mountains or to the south for a day or two. But not sure if you can swing it this month. Won't cost a dime. This month. That's always gotten to me. And surely some of you have saw this same text message before, but have you ever thought about that? Just that one little part. Not sure if you can swing it this month. I mean, it's like I don't know. It just doesn't sound right to me. Then she goes on to say, she supports me, but her parents were in a situation like that when she was a kid, and it came up. It won't bother me. I'm not going to stop seeing you. I made up my mind. Are we bad people? And this was on the 30th as well, 3 days after Shanann left. So if he truly didn't start really seeing her, or they truly, really didn't start seeing each other and really start having some kind of an attachment or bond before Shanann left, like was said, then, she's already telling her friends. She says it right there. And so she's already made up her mind. She's not going to stop seeing him. Her parents were in a situation like that when she was a kid, and it came up. Okay, a situation like what? A situation like her telling her friend that he's a married man with kids, and it won't bother me? I'm not sure what Chris said to her, but I can imagine he must have said something like, "Look, don't tell your friend. If you tell her, she's going to start telling you stuff and making you not want to be with me because I'm married and got kids." And that sounds like, in my opinion, something that would be said that would have this sort of a reaction and a reply. On 6/30, June the 30th, Shanann left for North Carolina June the 27th. Now, this is only 3 days after Shanann left, and supposedly they had never went on a date, never met outside of work or anything like that until Shanann was already gone. So within 3 days' time, she's asking him, not sure if you can swing it this month. Why would you even contemplate or think you would be even remotely sure if he can swing anything this month within 3 days? And why would you already be telling your friends and saying you've made up your mind and wondering if you're a bad person within 2 days of ever speaking to this guy outside of work? I call BS. I call a lot. I get pretty riled up about stuff like that. That whole text right there, she left all of her blue because she assumed be no problem there because everybody already knows that. Well, some people's going to look into that a little deeper than obviously she did, or she would have deleted that too. Okay, this is 6/27. Wow, this is the day Shanann left to go to North Carolina. 2:42 p.m. And this is Chris. Promise, I'm about loyalty, truthfulness, and being dedicated. I don't like playing games, unless it's role-playing. If you want me there, I will be there. Ice cream, cookies, and lollipops. Sounds like a cheat meal night. A cheat meal. So they already know their healthy living, their eating habits, they're keeping everything so healthy, and he's already telling her he likes he likes to role play, and he will be there with ice cream, cookies, and lollipops. And that is the day Shanann left. Now you tell me that he would say things like this to somebody that he has never met outside of work, that he's only just kind of talked to a little bit, never nothing big. No, if you can't look at this text right here and believe to yourself that this, between these two, had been going on longer outside of that work than what either one of them says, then I just don't know what to say. You can't get much more obvious than that. Okay, this is 6/29 at 7:34 p.m. And it's Chris. I'm still going to see you. It won't be as often as we like, but I will make it happen. You think you're the only one addicted right now? I am so hooked on you. Okay, this is supposedly 2 days after the first time they'd ever met outside of work. This is the 29th. Now keep in mind, when Shanann first went to North Carolina, she was only going to be there for a couple of weeks. Well, I'm assuming, since Nicole has deleted whatever she wrote here, that they were talking about, well, you know, she's only going to be gone now for another week and a half, and then she'll be back. And he's like, well, I'm still going to see you. It won't be as often as we like, but, you know, I'll make it happen. And why else would he say, you think you're the only one addicted right now? She had to have said, I'm addicted to you, you know. When she gets back, I'm not going to be able to wait for her to go on some business trip before I see you again. That is what I think. That is my opinion. There's not much of a other way to look at that, but, you know, you can look at it however you wish, but, I mean, come on now. Okay, going on down again, 6/29 at 8:12 p.m. 6/29, keep in mind 2 days, or 1 day, 1 or 2 days after the claim of the first time they ever met outside of work at the park, and they just sat there and talked, okay? This is like the next day. Sleeping without your warm body next to me isn't going to be fun tonight. 6/29 at 8:12 p.m. Now you tell me, people, we don't know what she said to him or replied at the same time. Does that not insinuate that they have slept together before? I mean, even if they slept together the very first night, and I'm sure they did, that they met, the very first night they met couldn't have been longer than 2 days ago, supposedly, because Shanann left on 6/27. If seeing all these and putting everything together has not convinced you that him and Nicole were seeing each other well before either one of them claims, which is after Shanann left, then I don't know what to say, but there's no other way to look at it. You're not going to get that deeply attached, bonded, molded, addicted to somebody within 48 hours. Just not going to happen. Anyway, moving right along. This is one of the videos that I do not have on our channel. I never actually put it there because it is everywhere out there. However, I did think about putting it here, but then doing like a pointing out things during it, you know, like she'll say something, you know, and if something catches our attention, I'll stop it and talk about it a few minutes and give my reasoning for talking about it or bringing up the point or whatever. But I never actually put her video here or even on my other channel because it is out there everywhere so much. I just didn't want to add one more of the same, you know, out there. But if you're interested, any of you are interested in me putting that video on our channel here and me kind of going through it and stopping and talking about different things I may see in it. I don't even know what it would be right now because it's been a while since I looked at that interview, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot that I'll see and I'll like, whoa, wait a minute, or let's stop, let's talk about this. I'm sure there's going to be plenty. If you're interested in me doing that, just drop it in the comments, and if you're not, you know, you ain't even got to say you're not, just, you know, but let me know, and if I get enough of you that is interested in wanting me to do that, then that's something that I will do. Nicole's phone was taken as evidence and booked into evidence at the CBI, Lakewood. The evidence sheet is attached. Nicole continues to recall information from her relationship with Christopher Watts. On August 23, 2018, we discussed that information in a recorded interview room at the CBI Lakewood office. The recording is attached to this report. Nicole was introduced to CBI agents Tammy Lee and Stacy G prior to the interview. Before the interview, CBI agent Matt Saylor assisted with data collection from Nicole's phone. During our interview at the CBI, Nicole provided the following information. The password to her iPhone is reported talking with her close friends about quote-unquote damage control, relating to her name getting out into the media. She asked them to remove photos of her on Facebook and other social media. Well, she didn't get a hold of all of them because there's still quite a bit out there. So she was already doing quote-unquote damage control, that's her own words, herself off of social media. And she was worried about media getting to her. Well, why would she worry about that? The first one that ever told her name to media was herself. And that didn't even happen until November the 15th. So her name was never put out into social media until she brought it out herself. That was the last that she was heard of, She denied having any conversations with anyone about Chris Watts with the exception of her father and Charlotte Nelson. She admits to sending a photo of Chris Watts to Charlotte during a text conversation on August the 7th, 2018. During that same conversation, comments were made by Nicole that Chris has children. Charlotte has not made the connection that Chris is the person involved in this case. During this text conversation, Nicole says she can tell Watts has a lot to take care of. She says she is referring to him being a father, owning a home, and having children. Well, how is that a lot to take care of? If you're a husband and you have children, owning a home usually falls in line pretty much. How is that a lot to take care of? That is called being a responsible family man, adult. She also says she can tell Watts is all about his kids. Well, that's a good thing, right? He should have been. Nicole said at this time in their relationship, she was very positive about Watts and was enjoying their relationship. I questioned Nicole about mentioning the children and not liking that Watts had children. Nicole said she was not sure he was the one she was going to spend her life with, and she did not like that he already had children, as Watts has already done everything in references to marriage and children. There you see it. She admitted herself that she did not like that he already had children and that he had already done everything in reference to marriage and children. Straight up, she sat there and said it. She did not like that. To be honest, that in itself, just that few sentences right there, says a lot. A hell of a lot. Here's the thing. If she didn't like that he had children, and she didn't like that he was already married and had children, then why in the hell did she keep putting herself into his life? Why did she continue to say, I'm going to keep seeing you. I've already made up my mind, even though she sat there and said she did not like that he had children or had been married before. If she didn't like the situation, then why did she keep herself involved in his life, their life? If she didn't like it, what's the situation? And for all of these people that think she's guilty of nothing but being a mistress, how can you even look at that part and say she's only guilty of being a mistress? And maybe that is all she's guilty of. I can't factfully and show proof that that's, that she was more than that. At the same time, when she's saying things like this out of her own mouth, but yet also telling Chris, I'm not going to quit seeing you. I made up my mind. No, I don't like that you've got children, and I don't like that you've been married or got a wife, but I'm going to keep seeing you. Well, you can't have it both ways. Or can you? Anyway, she talked about having her own life with a man who has not been married and does not have kids. So she wanted a man that came with completely no baggage. No wife, no ex-wife, no kids, no mortgage, no responsibility. That's what she wanted. And so if she talked about having her own life with a man who's not been married and does not have kids to go back, then I'm certain she had that same conversation with the man she's so addicted to, correct? Or am I wrong here? I think I'm pretty correct there. Nicole said this conversation was exclusive to her and Charlotte, and she never talked with Watts or anyone else about this information. Really? Well, you're sitting there talking to Kevin Kovac about it, right? And you openly talked to Charlotte about it. So you're telling me you didn't talk to Chris about it. Okay. And whoever believes that, please don't ever sit on any jury that I or my family is any part of. Please. Because if somebody will buy that story, I don't know. That's my opinion. Charlotte's father died on August the 22nd. And Charlotte and Nicole had another conversation regarding Chris Watts. Nicole asked Charlotte to not speak with the media. She said they did not specifically discuss Watts or the case. Charlotte's phone number is, okay, why would the media talk to Charlotte? Like, why would they even, if they don't even know who Nicole is, then why would the media be talking to Charlotte? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, she's warning her friend about the media, but yet the media don't even know who she is yet, and they're not going to know who she is because Kovac has already told her that. Anyway, when Chris returned from North Carolina in August of 2018, he and Nicole spoke by phone. Chris told Nicole that Shanann was preparing to finalize their divorce, and Shanann had called a realtor to find a new place to live. Well, we know the realtor part is true, and if Shanann was preparing to finalize their divorce, which a divorce never got started, so obviously definitely wasn't to finalize it, but I mean, nobody really knows if they ever talked about divorce. I mean, if they did, then Shanann never told her friends, her family, or anything like that. She did tell them they were having problems, but I never saw the word divorce. So, I mean, nobody really knows about that. Nicole said she helped Chris look for an apartment for himself. Well, how generous of her. She recalled finding an apartment in Brighton, Colorado that fit his needs, and Chris was gung-ho about the possibilities of the new apartment. But they really like that word, and I've heard the word. I know the term, but those two those two talk a lot alike, so you can tell that they had many conversations together, to whereas they both kind of picked up each other's slang words and their talk, their explanations of things. I mean, so you can tell they really talk to each other a lot. On Saturday, August the 11th, 2018, Chris and Nicole again discussed the apartment, and Chris did not seem interested. Well, Chris had already said that, I mean, this is what he said, and this is going by his words, that he was trying to figure out a way that night to tell Nicole he couldn't get a babysitter, and he's just going to go to the game, and he, with the other guy, and he just wished that he would have went ahead and went to the game with Jeremy Lindstrom and told her he couldn't get a babysitter. I don't know why Chris would have said that he wanted to tell her, well, I couldn't get a babysitter, if he was the one that called her and said, hey, you want to go out tonight? I'm getting a babysitter, or something like that. I don't think it actually went that way, but I think she asked him, hey, can you get a babysitter, or ask for outside help. So I almost think it was her idea that he got the babysitter that night, because I don't even really think it's something he thought about. And he was like, well, maybe I can get her, because I don't think Chris was ever actually asked whose idea was it for them to go out that night. Nicole thought that Chris, quote, may have already known something I didn't, unquote. She said his mood had changed from their prior conversation about the apartment. I think Chris was wanting to back away from her. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. I feel like he was starting to hate himself for what he was doing. But at the same time, he couldn't confront Nicole about it. And I believe that he knew that if he broke it off with Nicole, that I believe he thinks that Nicole or Charlotte or one of her friends would have told Shanann anyway. And it was just, he was just regretting everything he did. He just regretted. He even said that he wished Shanann hadn't went away for 6 weeks. I mean, I think he was having big regrets on this night of August the 11th. I really do. But he didn't do nothing about them, so that's fact. She said his mood had changed from their prior conversation about the apartment. Nicole further stated that she and Chris discussed how he would cut costs when moving into a new apartment. Nicole said Chris is an avid football fan and loves to watch the games. She said he talked about cutting costs by getting rid of cable and using an Amazon Fire Stick. She said an unknown friend was working on this for Chris. It wasn't an unknown friend. She had already said before something about Troy McCoy, and maybe she didn't know it was Troy that was doing the Fire Stick. I'll give her that. It's possible. Then again, I think she did, because Nicole literally asked every question. Like, she knew everything about Chris, so. But it was Troy McCoy that was working on his Amazon Fire Stick so he could watch sports games on the Fire Stick, I guess for free, and he wouldn't have to pay cable. She said after this conversation, she felt like he was planning on leaving his house and moving into the apartment. Nicole talked about a phone conversation she had with Chris prior to him leaving for North Carolina. During the conversation, she said she tried to convince Chris to fix his relationship with Shanann. She said she tried to convince him to fix the relationship before persuading her. I do not believe that. She wanted him to fix his relationship with Shanann. She would have left him alone, period. Right? She wouldn't have kept meeting him, kept sending him nude pictures, kept throwing her ass in his face. I'm sorry, but that's just what she was doing. She wouldn't have done all that. So there's no way I will ever believe that. Ever. And it just makes me sick to even look at it read there, because I know it is complete BS. Nicole said she wanted to know Chris had done what he could to repair his relationship prior to coming into her life. Prior to coming into her life? Wouldn't that mean before coming into her life? Okay, so at this point, they've already lived together for basically 2 months. Had talk of marriage, kids. She's told him she don't want a man with kids or a man that's married. She has told him she don't want to have kids, but she did want to give him his first son. She had gotten all kind of mad because Shanann was calling him. He had to leave her house, but yet she went over to his house shortly after, whatever. The whole time he was in North Carolina, quote unquote, trying to fix his marriage, she was sending him every raunchy, nude, nasty photo she could, blowing up his phone with text messages. So yeah, but now she's saying that she wanted to make sure that he had done what he could to fix his marriage with Shanann before she come into his life. What in the hell is wrong with that picture? And how in the world could an FBI agent, CBI agent, not see through that? They're seeing and hearing, and she's face to face with them, the same thing we're seeing and reading. How can they not see that? How can anybody not see that? Nicole said she felt it was fast that Shanann called a realtor when she came home from North Carolina, as Chris reported she had done. Okay, why would that be fast? Earlier she said that she was under the impression that they were separated and they were working on selling their house, right? And the only reason they were still together was contractual, the finances, the home, things like that. So why would she think it's fast that when Shanann got back into town, she went ahead and called her realtor. Why would that be fast? Because if, according to her, and what she says Chris told her, they had been doing this for quite some time now, so what would be so odd, and how would that be quote-unquote fast? Whatever. Inconsistencies much? She said Chris had initially dragged his feet about selling the house, and it surprised her that when they came home from North Carolina, she was immediately ready to sell the home. How does she know Chris dragged his feet about selling the house? She said that that's what they were doing, that's what they've been working on. So how does she know that he was dragging his feet about selling it? Had she been pressuring the hell out of him about getting it on the market and selling it? And had she been telling him, oh my God, you're going to have to quit dragging your feet and get on the ball with this? Is that why she said he had been dragging his feet? Why else would she make a comment like that? When it's absolutely none of her business. It's Shanann's home. It's Chris's home. It's nothing to her. So why even use the term initially dragging his feet about selling it? Now really, these little things like this may not sound like much if you're just reading through it and not kind of putting other things that she said and the way she said them together with it. But when you do that, and you look at the big picture as opposed to the one sentence or one paragraph, then it all seems staged and rehearsed, doesn't it? Like she's just trying to figure out anything she has to say, but occasionally she'll slip up with something that completely makes her sound like she's a damn liar, just like right here. Chris initially dragging his feet about selling the house. I don't know. Boy, if I had been an investigator or a detective on this case, good Lord, Lord have mercy, it would have been so different. Nicole said she felt like it was fast. Nicole again discussed looking for apartments with Watts and recalled during their date on August the 11th, Chris was reluctant to go look at apartments, so he didn't really even want to go do it. I tell you, I truly think Chris really wanted to back out of this with her. I truly do believe that, because at that point, he had been with his family, thought about what was going on, seen how much Shanann really truly loved him and wanted to save their marriage. And if he had any sliver, any little tiny bit of emotion inside him, then he was regretting the choices he had made and wishing that he could turn back time and never have done it. But Nicole kept pressuring him and pushing him, get that apartment, sell that house. You've been dragging your feet. Gotta go ahead and get this done. To me, all I see from her is pressure, pressure, pressure. And honestly, through her own words, it appears Chris was trying to back out of it. She was putting so damn much pressure on him. You know, and I've even heard some people say that maybe he did try to break it off with her. And she's like, fine, I'll tell your wife. Your wife's going to love to find out about me. Or whatever. Now, some people have speculated that, and I'm not saying that happened. You know, I am not. And that could be the farthest thing in the world from the truth, right? Because there again, that is speculation again. However, for whatever reasons, everything she's saying here sounds like Chris was really trying to back out of it. And you can see here the pressure she was putting on him. So who knows what happened August 11th till the morning of August 13th. It was a hell of a lot that went on between Chris and Nicole between that time frame. Some of it, you're subtly getting out of it here from her. Even though she's trying to make it sound like, you know, she's in the good, she hasn't done nothing wrong. If you read between the lines, and she's not real good at remembering what she said in the past, read between these lines, you can see a lot here with her. Pressure, pressure, pressure. You know, you can see it. Watts told Nicole he had found a few apartments, but none of them made him excited. She recalled one of the apartments Watts told her about was $1,200 a month and was 2 bedrooms, and she asked Chris to name the name as she believed she would have seen it in her research, and he did not know the name of the apartments. See, I don't think that Chris found one for $1,200 a month, a 2-bedroom for $1,200 a month. I think he just told her that so she would shut up about him going and looking at apartments with her and, getting him an apartment. I think he just told her, yeah, I already found one, 2-bedroom, it's like $1,200 a month, and, I'm going to go look at it. Or, I think that's the one I'm going to get, or whatever. Because she jumped right in and she's like, well, I would have probably saw it. What's the name of it? He didn't remember. But Chris is known as the Rain Man, so he would have damn sure remembered, right? So I think what he said there was just something to put her off, get her to shut up and stop pressuring him about going and looking and getting an apartment. Nicole recalled that Chris was quote unquote unplugged during their Saturday, August the 11th date. There you go. Unplugged. I'm assuming that means he just wasn't in it. He was just kind of staring out into space, deep thought, not paying any attention to her like she was so used to, of him kissing her ass and being so goo gaga over trying to woo her at every minute. Well, he wasn't doing that. He was just kind of in another world, not even really paying her the attention she wanted. And I believe he was wanting to call it off. I believe he was so done with this whole shit that he was doing with Nicole, and I truly believe he was just wanting to get back to his real life with his wife and his kids and downsize their home and get their debt situation right. I really believe he wanted to do that at this point. What do you think? I mean, she's sitting there telling you he wasn't even into their date, wouldn't talk to her about it, even tried to throw her off with I've done found an apartment, all this. I don't think, but she wouldn't let him. She was putting this pressure on him, pressure. And for whatever reasons, what if he did try to break it off with her? Look, I don't think this is going to work. Maybe me and her do need to work it out for the kids and this, that, and the other. And then she got on her trip again and he had to talk her off this other ledge and maybe she said something crazy. I don't know. But it definitely sounds like he was not all about this on this Saturday, August the 11th. Because even she's saying that. She's saying it. I don't think she truly thinks that people is going to look in that direction, that he was done with her. Because she had done made the point so clear that he was so into her way more than she was him. Well, it doesn't sound that way to me. Does it sound that way to you? But, something happened that night. Something happened. I don't know what, but something happened between those two. This is also the night that he told her that he deleted his Facebook. And she went on this rant about, are you sure you permanently deleted it? She made sure and tell him exact steps that you got to do to make sure it's completely deleted. Nothing can be shown. Make sure it's not just deactivated. I mean, why would she worry about it that much? I mean, come on. Something happened this night, guys, on August the 11th. It absolutely did. I know it did. I cannot get that out of my mind. What do you think it was? I mean, there's so many things it could have been. What is your opinion? Nicole recalls 2 friends of Watts, Nick and Mark. She does not know their last names. Nicole and I discussed her employment, and she stated she was fired on August the 22nd from Tasman Geosciences. She reported she was a contract employee with Anadarko Petroleum through Tasman, and Anadarko had canceled her contract, so Tasman in turn fired her. See, her contract was almost up. She was like on a 6-month contract with Anadarko, and it was almost up anyway. But this contract employment, Tasman, fired her because Anadarko canceled her contract. And that seems like an odd reason to fire somebody. I mean, if your contract was canceled, I don't know. I'm going to have to think on that one just a bit more. That's just weird. Nicole provided me with a thumb drive which contained her cell phone call logs from July the 14th until August the 13th. She received the call log from her phone provider, Verizon, and provided me with a copy. See the attached log for further. So she is the one that brought them the call logs that we all see that has Verizon written across the top. That is her actual personal cell phone bill, and she is the one that gave that to them as evidence. During the meeting with Nicole, CBI victim advocate Hazel Hecker spoke with Nicole for a short period of time. After this conversation, Nicole inquired with me about how to change her name. I gave her cursory information on how to do so. Nicole apologized for deleting the text messages and phone log between she and Watts. She admits to being very worried about the information being lost. I spoke with Nicole about her deleting the messages and told her there are no criminal charges against her. See, I don't get that. Is that not tampering with evidence, destroying evidence? I mean, this is a big case. This is a quadruple murder case. But I again spoke with Nicole about the text message conversation she had with Charlotte. I specifically asked what she meant by his children making her uncomfortable. Nicole said she wants her own family. She said she never said anything to him about his wife or children being a problem. I don't believe that. She's told everybody else. Why wouldn't she tell the one that she's planning to share her life with, right? She never said to him that his kids were an issue. She said she was thinking about building her own life and that he already had a life. Sounds like manipulation to me. I would like to build my own life, but you've already got one. You know, I want to make my own kids. I want to be somebody's first wife, only wife. I don't want an ex-wife. You know, I want, if we have kids, I want all your attention to be on our child. I think on it, the more irritated I get. She said she never said anything about kids damaging their relationship. She said there was never a conversation with Watts that he may have thought she was making reference to Shanann or his children being a problem. What? Really? Nicole said she was 100% committed to Watts at this time, but was not sure if he was the man she wanted to spend the rest of her life with. Well, she wasn't sure because she wanted to be somebody's only wife. She's already said this now. This is not speculation. And she did not want anybody that already had kids. And she wanted to give him his very first son. Come on, y'all. Really? Golly, this is, to me, manipulation tactic 101 perfection, honey. Nicole said she cared about Watts and his children and always found the children quote-unquote cute. Nicole said Chris never mentioned getting rid of the kids and always discussed them moving with him when he got a new apartment. Getting rid of the kids is an awfully odd thing to say. I mean, it would sound better if she had said Chris never mentioned trying to get custody of his kids or something like that instead of getting rid of the kids. Nicole said this whole case has her shocked and said he lied so much. He lied to everybody. He had everybody fooled. Well, so did you, Nicole. You had him fooled, and everybody sees that. Well, almost everybody. Nicole went on to state she really believed that Shanann had left and believed that Shanann was just upset. Oh, so that's why you told him just to go pawn her ring? Oh, she's mad now. She left the ring. Go pawn it. Hurry. Okay. All right. She said when she goes back through everything, she did not see any red flags, and she had no idea he was going to kill his family. She recalled thinking how long it would take for his brain to shift to get him to do this. Yeah, that sentence just makes absolutely no sense. She recalled thinking how long it would take for his brain to shift to get him to do this. She said he could have done this if she was in his life or not, and thought it could have been her or a co-worker who could have been killed too. Her or a co-worker who could have been killed too. I wonder where the "or a coworker could have been killed too" comes in. I mean, most people would think when she says it could have been her that could have been killed too, they're assuming that she means, well, you know, if Chris can kill his own wife and kids, then he could kill her too. But she says it could have been her or a co-worker who could have been killed too. I see, that's just... Why would a co-worker could have been killed too? Why? Where does this co-worker come in that could have been killed too? And how? Who is the damn co-worker? And how could they have been killed too? I wish they would have asked her that. What co-worker are you talking about? And can you elaborate on what you mean, how you or a co-worker could have been killed too? I mean, I wish they would have asked her that, because that just completely don't make any sense. I mean, it does if you want to think about some of these theories that's floating around out here, but obviously it means something, or she wouldn't have threw it in there, right? Then stated, how can he just say, quote, "Hey, my family just disappeared, and I'm not going to question that," unquote. She said Watts was so into his girls, and she supported him being with his girls. I kind of don't think so. I kind of feel like she was jealous when he gave them girls attention. I think she almost felt a bit of jealousy that she wasn't getting all of his attention. That's my personal opinion, but I do believe that. Nicole said it made her happy when he was with his children. Okay, then why would she blow his phone up when he was in North Carolina? Why would she be all about this date Saturday night that she was putting all this damn pressure on him about getting an apartment and this, that, and the other, and making sure what debit card he was using? And oh God, what else happened that Saturday night? I can't even think right now. But why wasn't she telling him to be with his kids then, instead of complaining that he was unplugged, not really there, not interested in looking at an apartment? I mean, she said, "I legitimately think his cheese is sliding off his cracker long before he met me." Well, yeah, that's possible, but at the same time, when you've got a damn bulldozer and you're driving the bulldozer and you're pushing the cheese on off of his cracker with such damn pressure and force, then yeah, it's going to go on off. And I don't think all your cheese is on your cracker either. I inquired if Nicole had watched the relationship video posted on the media outlets. She said she had not, and said she does not like looking at Watts. Yes, she did. I think she did. Nicole provided no further information during this interview. Nothing further. Investigation continues. And going on down, this just shows the phone waivers and the interview recording and the Verizon phone records attachments. We are going to stop this video here, and when we get into part 20, we will be going into Joshua Rosenberg's interview. This is a friend of Chris and Shanann, and we know this is Cassie Rosenberg's husband. So we were going to be getting right into his interview in part 20. I hope you guys learned something new from this. I hope my thoughts and opinions were not too far out there, and you were able to handle all my little rants in between and all the many thoughts and opinions. And I tend to end up having a lot of those thoughts and opinions when we get into NK interviews, because there is so much inconsistency in those. I can't stand it. I swear I could sit and talk about her interviews for hours. Just one of them. Because there's so many inconsistencies. It's like every sentence, you can almost pick something out of every sentence that is complete BS, in my opinion. But anyway, obviously the CBI thought she was a very credible person for whatever reasons. So, if you learned something new from this video, if it was even a good refresher for you, then please give us a thumbs up. I really would appreciate it. And until we see you next time with part 20, I hope you have a great day, night, evening, wherever you may be. And this is UnJustified.